You are tuning in to the You Are Loved podcast, where we hope to bring love and kindness to the world.
Welcome to another You Are Loved podcast, where I have the amazing, beautiful Lucy Regan, who is the next career chapter coach who is passionate about empowering women in their 40s and 50s to navigate career and life transitions with clarity and confidence. With a deep focus on reconnecting and authentic voices and identities, Lucy helps women find their why and create meaningful, purpose-driven career paths that align with their values and aspirations. Her coaching style is compassionate yet direct, providing a safe, supportive space to acknowledge and overcome their limiting beliefs and empower imposter syndrome, reigniting clients to take steps towards their career and life lesson. Lucy brings a holistic approach to coaching, focusing on the whole person and just the career challenges through methods that blend self-discovery with structured action steps, from defining career goals and honing personal branding and identifying who they want to be and impact they aspire to core values and creating a vision for the future. Lucy empowers women to take bold step forwards. Inspired by her own life journey, she understands the complexities of midlife balancing, career pivots, family dynamics, and personal growth. And she's dedicated to being the coaching partner she wishes she had through her own transitions. Welcome, Lucy. Thank you so much for joining.
Wow, that was a lot to.
That's a lot. Reading isn't my first language, so.
Oh no, not even that. It's like hard to hear when you're someone's talking about you, and you're sitting here. You're like, okay.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I did all that. That's great.
I have to put my own imposter syndrome to the side and go, yes, own it.
Yeah.
Love it and enjoy it.
So, Lucy, why don't you just tell us a little bit about how you got into this career path, or this path that you've created for yourself, and help empower and bring other women into them best selves?
Sure. So I looked at this when I was 27. I'm 52 now.
Okay.
And explored the training and certification, and really loved the one-on-one connection and the impact, and just realized I didn't have enough life experience. So I was like, yeah, not for me right now. Went and kept pursuing my brand strategy, business development career, which was doing very well. And then my career did a halt. I had a situation with my eldest child who nearly died. And then my next child got diagnosed with a processing and development delay, which took us 5 years and 4 days a week therapy, where I just had to step aside from my career, which is extremely hard. And then I had a third child, and then I got divorced. So,
oh my gosh, wow.
Roller coaster where I was buried in the demands of life and had to put my own ambitions to the side. And then when I came out of that, I'm like, I really still believe in this. I love it. I believe in it. So I went back to the same school and went, I'm going to get trained. Didn't know how it was going to look or how it was going to end up, but I just took one foot. I literally gave myself my own advice, put one foot in front of the other. And the why is I really want to give the partnership and support and guide and accountability for women of which I wish I had.
Right.
It would have made it so much more at ease, fluid, quicker, less this, more this. So I feel like women, we give so much. And especially at this age, we're kind of the midlife sandwich. You've got the teenagers leaving home or still juggling teenagers, and our parents getting older. Right. So we are giving. And there gets to a point where you're like, you know what? I still have so much more energy. I have resilience, wisdom, time. I don't want to give up. I want to go for my next chapter. So I get very fired up when I meet these women who are talented people who have so much more impact to give, but they just lost their mojo. They just lost their confidence. Their pilot light is on, but the flame is not revved up.
Yeah.
So they have that fire in the belly, and I get all fired up. I'm like, I just want to grab it, grab their why, build their why, put the limiting beliefs and the imposter syndrome, acknowledge them, name it, and overcome it to let them shine.
Yeah.
I think everyone deserves to be seen and heard so we can shine again.
I think that's beautiful. It's beautiful.
That's what gets me going. Well, juggling 3 teenage boys.
Where are you from originally?
So I'm from Australia. I grew up on a sheep property in the middle of nowhere, so far from where I am now, and which I loved. It was very authentic. It was very hard work. Lots of we were literally on the horse mustering cattle and sheep on the weekends with my siblings.
Wow.
So the absolute opposite of how I'm raising my own children.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's amazing. Wow, I did not know that. I'm glad I asked that question. That's so amazing. So how do you think that like growing up on a farm as a child, a sheep and horse cattle farm as a child, and having to get out there and work over the weekends and so forth, how do you think that has helped you with like the rest of your life and going through these transitions that you went through?
Oh, that's a great
to get
question.
You where you are today?
Great question. It's the drive. My parents instilled in me a very hard work ethic, like pretty intense work ethic, where you just do it. So I think in the evolution of our wisdom as we get older, we realize it's more than just doing it. You have to reflect and overcome all the limiting beliefs. But the part from my childhood was just do it. Just take one step. You just never know where it can take you. So as that work ethic and that drive, I have a very strong drive. I think I've been known for my strength, my inner strength. And I think that's also seeing a lot of death, and like we had droughts, floods, fires. It's basically like the Old Testament. There was many deaths of animals and people that you were close to. Just normal living on the land is pretty intense.
Yeah.
So as a child, you dealt with it, but you also very connected with the nature too, and being present.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that. We had 2 channels on TV. One was black and white.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any technology, or we just either working or being super present with my siblings.
That's great.
I think it was a magical childhood.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I remember having like a black and white television when I was a kid, and like we had to have like not a wrench. I think it was a wrench or whatever it's called, to like, because the button would be gone to turn the channel.
Right. You have to like turn it around.
Yeah, and then like using tinfoil on the antennas so you could get a clearer picture instead of static. Awesome. Kids nowadays have no idea what we went through trying to get access to media.
Yes, I would love to plant my 3 teenage boys into my old life.
Yeah,
just a week.
Just
when they'll come home and go, "Oh, thank you, Mom. Thank you so much."
Yeah.
For how great our lives are.
Does anyone in your family still have that farm or no?
Yeah. So my brother runs the family property now with his 3 kids. So I'm actually going home for Christmas. So I get to go home, put my flannel shirt on, help with the sheep or cattle.
That's amazing. Are your sons going with you?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So you can shoo them out into the farm and let them see what it's like. Yeah,
they come every 2 years with me. It's just great to reconnect with your authentic self, which is probably another. I haven't thought about it because no one's ever asked me that question. The connection to my upbringing, the authenticity is so important to me.
Yeah,
just the way I grew up, and when I go home, I reconnect with my most authentic self.
Oh, that's amazing. But you get to do it now as an opportunity as an adult that's healed from any past traumas that may have been created from your childhood, that we all get.
The fear of flight was very much part of our mode, because there was deadly snakes that would come into the house. There was, you'd be on a horse, and the horse might step over a deadly snake. You're like, "Oh God, I hope it doesn't come up and bite me. Where do I put my feet?" It's just a common occurrence every week. That's,
it's like life or death every day. It's not like driving on the freeway. It's like real life or death.
Yeah. And it's just the norm back then. But now we, like, I'm safe. I trust myself. What can I, putting that fight or flight, put it in perspective.
Yeah.
And then helping you calm yourself. And that's a really important part, as you're dealing with your inner child. You have to deal with it sometime.
That's awesome. And so you're living in the States now, right?
Yeah, I've been here. I came in 1997. Just make me sound
that's great.
For work. They were like, we want to send you around the world. Where do you want to go? And I'm like, San Francisco. So they sent me here, and an amazing opportunity. So I went for it, not knowing where it was going to lead me. And you know how you just kind of like, okay, I'm going to take the next step and not get attached to the end result. That's really important to tell my clients. I'm like, let's just take the next step, because you step into the version of who you want to be by just taking that opportunity.
Yeah. Yep. I listened to this audiobook. So, and that's what he talked about. And he was like really into like yoga and like just had this like yoga retreat and stuff. But he ended up, this was back in the day, like in the 90s and stuff, he built this like huge technology company, but he experienced all this stuff because he just said yes to like the next opportunity. He didn't allow the fears and all that stuff to stop him from going to the next next step. And even through adversity and all that stuff, he just like went with the flow. And I think meditation, and I'm not really a big fan of yoga, although I like the stretches, but I think the meditation and stuff like that just in his life really helped him to stay at center and at peace with that. So what do you love best or like most about what you get to do now? And is there any, like, without giving away anything personal, like any kind of story that it's really just like someone that you've helped become their most authentic self that changed you as well?
Yeah, I actually started taking note last probably 6 months of when I get goosebumps. Sessions. And I'm like, when do I get goosebumps? And I realize I get them every session. I think it's when the client is just so, their awareness, the depth of their awareness, where one client in particular that came to mind when you asked was she had lost herself. She had the last 20 years was more on autopilot versus reconnecting with her authentic self. And in our completion session, she said to me, she goes, I found my 20-year-old self.
Oh, wow.
Found the energetic, creative, entrepreneurial, adventurous. She goes, I found who I was and who I still am. And then she was making decisions and choices from that place now.
Right.
Which is so powerful, because we have another 30, 40 years to live.
Yeah.
Career and life.
Yeah.
So why not just go for it and get the most out of it? So that happens a lot with clients. I don't think they expect me to just work on career, but then we talk about the whole person, because you don't, not separate. And a lot of them are like, wow, I've reconnected with my most authentic, confident self. And it's this kind of permanent mindset shift. It's really cool. It's really cool to watch. I just love it. When they're fired up and like, okay, now I want to do this. I'm like, great, awesome.
That's awesome. So that's really exciting. And then how do you think that has like changed you or inspired you in your business as well? Just seeing that.
Business or my life? In my business, it keeps me fired up to keep going with all the
or in your life, the
marketing, and it doesn't happen by magic. It's hard work. You got to keep going. You're reaching out. You have many enrollment calls, but then you really match with the people that need you most. And I think it's a gift both ways. I really do. It happens that not to get too woo-woo, but the energy and the clients that come to me are the perfect fit.
Yeah.
And I'm learning from them too.
Okay, love that.
Which is really cool and inspired by my clients and inspiring, hopefully. Because you do have to reflect on your own. You do have to do your own work as a coach. You can't. I have to look at my limiting beliefs, my imposter syndrome, my what else? Just all of it. Am I walking the talk?
Yeah.
Like I can't fake it. And that's just who I am. I'm really like I don't talk about menopause a lot. I was telling you the other day, because I'm not fully going through it. So
yeah, me neither.
I can't talk. Yeah, I can't talk firsthand about it because I'm not experiencing it firsthand.
Yeah.
So to be your most authentic self, and it's really cool when you're most present in sessions, it's the most powerful.
Yeah.
You never know where it's going to go. The questions or the aha moments of transformation.
It's kind of like that one, there's like this one piece that clicks and you're like, okay, that's it. Like now this is like a whole mind shift. It's not just a mind shift, but it's like an emotional shift as well, right? Where I'm making this decision. That's where you really have the ability to make that decision and stick to it, I would think.
Yeah, they get really fired up because they feel like the power inside them.
Mm-hmm.
They're more in tune with how their vision and their confident self.
Yeah.
And so they're not letting the limiting beliefs run the show. And they realize that limiting beliefs just really need to be seen and heard too.
Yeah.
So become friends with them and acknowledge them. You're not fighting them. The more you resist, it persists. That old saying that you're like, I don't want to hear that again. It's so true. If you acknowledge it and name it and listen to it and see what it needs to hear, then it quietens down that noise.
Yeah.
Then the muscle that you build, the confident muscle where you tap into who do I really want to be and start acting that way, that's easier to tap into. So that's the actions that you take, which is so cool to watch. That kind of that turn.
And so so you have, obviously this is your business, and you're a mom, and you have bills like in your house and life, right?
Yeah.
And other relationships, friendships, and all that stuff. So when you start getting pulled in a lot of different directions, or you start having a lot of different stressors, like what do you do to help bring you back to like that center of peace, or make sure that through any of this adversity or being drained, it helps you to stay in your most authentic self?
So I do a lot of things. I do whatever I think can work. And if it doesn't work, I do the next thing. So I'm like so where do I start? There's no particular order. So I try to meditate. I use Inside Timer. I do the guided meditations. I don't try to be perfectionist about it. I have a whole new mindset in my 50s that what's good enough.
Okay.
I'm a recovering perfectionist for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm now like, what's good enough? So with that mindset, I'm not as hard on myself to try and make everything the best possible way. I used to be that way so badly. So the meditation helps calm me and guide me and ground me. I exercise every day.
Okay.
I just did a post about physical strength equals mental strength. I need it. I'm cranky without it. I have to kick something or punch something, or I'm just that's my release. I do all sorts of exercise, strength, cardio, yoga. So and I walk. Walking in nature. Very lucky where we are. I have a dog also. So walking in nature without my on a podcast or nothing, where I'm just completely present. And that's actually my probably biggest joy, is just escape. And that's where a lot of big perspectives shifts and the bigger picture comes into play for me, which I also encourage my clients to do. Because when you step out of the weeds and away from the computer or everything that's going on, you get a big picture perspective. And it puts into perspective the thing that you're stressing about. And it gives you alternative ways to look at it. So I also do that. What else do I do?
Journal at all?
I do journal. I don't have a daily. I'm not great about daily. What's good enough?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go on spurts where on a weekend that's no one's around and I have a moment. I just did a whole thing about, after listening to a podcast, who I want to be in all parts of my life.
Okay.
And what action would I take for every single line item?
I love that.
just a little baby step, nothing grandiose, just a little baby step. So, and I put it all into one journal so then I can look back at it a year or two. I kind of try to be kind to myself in my journaling, and celebrate. One thing I do, and I tell my clients to do or encourage them to do, is write down their accomplishments each year, big, small, so you can reflect back on that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else I do.
That's huge, by the way, because you're going to go back and remind yourself of that later on if you're going to be looking through your journals. And even with like, if some people use like a daily planner or whatever, like at the beginning, they're setting up their tasks and goals, and then being able to combine that with your journal, or even at the end of the planner, whatever people like to use. And you kind of just say that if you accomplish that of these goals that you set for yourself for that week, you know, and reflect on that. And that just really helps you. Like if you're ever feeling down, right? And then you can go back and reflect on it and be like, you know, look at all the times I accomplished everything I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
I'm amazing. You know,
us women, we don't celebrate ourselves enough. Like a lot of times with clients, I'll have to go, pause. We're going to double click on what you just said, because that is due for celebration. And how do we want to celebrate that? And if we celebrate those good moments, then our body is trained to want more of them. That's another part with you. With the daily planner, combining that with reflection prompts is really, really powerful in who I want to be. What are you resisting? Like, oh, I can't get that done. Well, what are you resisting? What's getting in the way? And to be really honest and really get to the core of it is super powerful, because then you're not spinning in cycles. Yeah. And beating yourself up. You're like, okay, let's be honest and compassionate through a compassionate lens, not through a fear lens. Right. That's powerful too. So yeah.
That's awesome. No, I love that. I love that. I just, so like after our last conversation, I have not started uploading the podcast yet, but I've been slammed. Yeah. But, you know, like before from our pre-call, I had been, so like pre-COVID, I had a company connecting in Atlanta. I still have it, but, it's just more of like a company that I kind of put everything through now. It's just general, but I hosted like over 72 different business workshops where I'd bring speakers in. I had partnered with the SBA and SCORE, and I marketed it out as well. And I did one big conference. We had 100 people show up, which I was excited about, that I had at a hotel, and my friend DJ'd for me for free, which was great. And it just was like, and these speakers come in, it was absolutely amazing. And so I pray that lives were changed there. And so I used to do like a lot of networking, right? And so, and then I had an online radio show, which was like podcasts or whatever. And then I got completely burned out. And I just stopped. And I was like, I just stopped doing it. And then I just kind of got into a rut of just working my standard job. And then I got burned out with corporate America. And I was like, just, you know, I just can't. And then went to Cuba in 2019, and then in May, and then that right before Trump shut it down, from the ships being able to go, my friends and I took a cruise, which was great. Then went back in January, just before the world shut down in 2020. And then really through the pandemic, you know, obviously we were forced to kind of like sit back and relax and reflect on stuff. Yeah. But, you know, 4 years now, last year we kind of figured out our model, and my business partner came on with me. She's creative and absolutely amazing. And so then we started the podcast this year, and I finally said yes. I was like, I saw a networking event. Someone invited, it was like a 30th anniversary. And I was like trying to look up information on because I can't remember who they are. I can't find anything, but I was like, okay, yes, I'm going to go. It's a free event. It's not too far from my house. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to talk to people in person, not just like in my little rut where I go to the same place every day after I've done working, and hang out with the same people and talk about nothing, you know, although I have met some, you know, amazing people there, but I'm going to start putting myself back out more. And so I was just thinking about our last conversation. So I did say yes to that. So I'm excited.
So yes to yourself.
Yeah.
Your energy shifted when you started talking about your old company, what you did.
Oh, really? Yeah.
You started talking more quickly.
Oh, wow.
And really tapping into that energy and tapping into the vision.
Yeah.
Without the answer, without how you're going to get there, or what it perfectly looks like. But what's the energy? What's the, like, obviously, and figuring out your core values, like what's most important to you. Connection obviously is one.
Yeah.
And you're also so good at it. Putting people at ease, and it's also a very important thing for you in your life.
Yeah.
So honoring those values with your pursuits.
Yeah.
And keep stepping forward to that joy will just bring more success and joy to you.
Yeah. Because I've always been like a natural born connector. Like, just like they would always say, well, if you need to know someone, just ask Jackie. She knows someone that can do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was part of that, and just helping people. And so, so I'm excited about going. So I just think it's going to be great. But the introvert myself that doesn't want to like the fear of being exposed and vulnerable and all that stuff, is like, don't go. It's like that internal battle
to stay home.
Just stay home. Yeah. So,
okay, I will do that. Go judge something else. Go judge something else and give it a job.
Exactly.
Tap into who you really want to be, and like, okay, what would that person do? What would she tell me to do?
Yeah.
Or yourself. That's a really cool other thing you can say in a reflective prompt.
Is what? Say that again.
What would your future self say to you?
Oh, yes, that's so true. Yes.
In a compassionate way, not in a like fear way, in a compassionate lens.
Yeah.
And you're like, just go for it. What do you got to lose?
Yeah.
Someone interesting. Who knows where it's going to go? It's only going to be opportunity versus doing nothing at home.
Yeah.
So it's pretty obvious which one serves you to what's important to you.
Yeah. 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 I definitely agree with that. So that's, so I just wanted to let you know that. So that was like, today. So
I know,
I think it's great.
Tuned.
Yeah. So I'm going to drive back 3 hours tonight. I'm not in my studio. I'm at my dad's. It's totally black back there. And my dad was like, when he first told me he bought this house in 2019, which was great because he got a great price for it. And it's like on a full acre. And he's like, yeah, it's a lakefront. And so when I got here, I was like, Dad, the lake is like 3 miles down the hill. You're not lakefront. He's like, you can still see it. I was like, okay, Dad, no problem.
It's actually beautiful. Better that he's 3 miles away, because otherwise mosquitoes
and flooding.
Maybe that's the Australian thing. You don't want to be right on the lake.
No.
Mosquitoes. So you want to be back a bit so you can walk to the lake?
Probably, because we don't really deal with mosquitoes here.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
which good. At least at his place. But in South Florida, and because it's water's all around, and then also in Atlanta where I live, there's mosquitoes are just awful. Like, I've taken my dog out for a walk and had a dress on one time and came back in like 10 minutes later with welts all over my legs. It was awful. As long as you don't scratch them, they'll go away. Like, they like simmer down a little bit. I just pat them down.
Yeah, you got to pull out the old chamomile lotion.
Oh, yeah.
As we grew up with all over us, all over our faces. And
exactly.
70s.
I'll just like take a bath in Benadryl or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But I love hearing the crickets. We were talking about that before we started.
Oh, yeah.
Hearing the crickets, and he's just so present. That's what I love about going home.
Yeah.
The time clock stops. Like, it's literally just, I don't know, the smells and the sounds. It's just such a beautiful gift to yourself and anyone who's there to like get off the hamster wheel.
Yeah. And it's peaceful, right? So it's like, especially me, because I don't like to be completely dead silent when I'm trying to go to sleep, because then I have to listen to the thoughts in my head. And I'm like, okay, let me listen to something else. So it's always nice and peaceful to go to sleep. So that's exciting. I've always wanted to go to Australia. And I know it's so American to say this, but I'd love to see like a kangaroo in person. Not go near because I think they're mean, right? Aren't they like mean?
They're mean if they're cornered.
Oh, okay.
They're like, I mean, and it's actually.
I don't want to get into a boxing match with a kangaroo.
Koala. Everyone thinks the koalas are kind, but they're not. They're actually mean.
I mean, like, grumpy. You said they're grumpy. Is that what you said?
Yeah, koalas are grumpy. You don't actually want to get close. They don't like you. But yeah, we have kangaroos on the property, which is really cool. So I take the kids on the motorbikes to go find a kangaroo.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I love it.
That's so awesome. I just think they're just such just great creatures and like just so unique. And yeah, I think it's just, and I think that's just such a gift that was given to Australia, was like kangaroos, one of the many, I'm sure. Well, and great accents.
They have 5 of the deadliest, I think I'll get this wrong. We'll see if I butcher it. 5 of the deadliest animals on the planet are native to Australia. So that's the kangaroo's the gift for all the deadly animals. And they're everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
You can't just walk through the tall grass in summer. You've got to jump around and be really loud, or you got to check the pool before you go in it, see if there's any snakes.
Oh, they're going to go swimming in the pool? The chlorine doesn't, or is it saltwater pools there? No. But I mean, it's an awesome country. I miss it. It's just, it was so different when I moved here. It was the culture, the work culture was so different. That I was like, oh God, I'm not sure about this. In Australia, you say what you think. It's a double-edged sword. In Australia, you say what you think. So there's no messing around in meetings. You have the agenda. Everyone's very clear and direct. In America, there's a lot of kind of swirling around the white elephant in the room. And I got the nickname Hammer when I moved here because I was like, what's the agenda? Like, I'm busy. What are we doing? What's your point? Like, can we just get to it?
Yeah, I didn't want to be rude, but I'm like, I'm busy. And then the upside of being in America is the opportunity. Like, if you're talented here, they lay out the red carpet in comparison to Australia.
Okay.
They're very encouraging here. They're very like, okay, I mean, it's an example. You can come from rags in America and be a billionaire. In Australia, they like to cut down really successful people. We call it the tall poppy syndrome, which is very unfortunate because it's so many talented people. And people still get ahead there, but there's a tendency that they will pull people back and be like, oh, you're not that good. Like, bragging is not cool in Australia. You don't be like, oh, I can do this and this and this. They'll be like, no, you got to be humble.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely want to be able to uplift people, encourage them and inspire them, because I feel like when people do put others down, it's because of their own insecurities that are inside of them. And we all need a champion, like everybody does. And and when people do try to get negative with me, I just tell them that I rebuke that statement and don't ever say that to me again,
Yeah, we all, especially women, because I think with men, what I've seen, and the stats back it up, men go after 100% of the opportunities that they're 60% qualified for. Women go after 60% of the opportunities that they're 100% qualified for.
Yes. Yeah. And we only think we're 60% qualified for it, so we don't ask for 100% of the pay.
Yeah. And that's the other part to it. So so that's why I'm just so gung-ho about supporting other women, because we put ourselves down enough.
Yeah.
And we give so much to everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why not go after and give yourself, a lot of it's about giving yourself permission.
Yeah.
Like, I deserve to go after it. I deserve to be like, yeah, I'm really good at this.
Yeah, exactly.
Promotion. I'm going to ask, for the pay rise or equal pay, God forbid.
Yeah.
We get fired up. I'm like, no, you deserve it.
I like to go and play Texas Hold'em poker.
Oh,
and
fun.
so one of the things people don't know about me is like, well, one, I am a Christian and I'm pretty conservative, but I also do have a potty mouth sometimes, and I am ambitious and direct. So I was thinking when you said that, I was like, my first thought was, oh, you should have moved to New York. You'd have probably fit right in over there because it's so diverse and multicultural and everyone's super direct and stuff.
Yeah.
But I also like to smoke cigars. And
that's awesome. While you're playing poker?
And play poker, yeah. And so I'm really like the only female that goes and plays. Sometimes the wives will come with a couple guys and play, but I've won like the last 4 out of 5 times. Awesome. And yeah, which is great because I kept losing every other time before that for about 3 months. And then I finally got better. And then one of the guys had said something kind of, he said something to me and I was like, no, I'm preparing for my podcast. And then he tried to get fresh. And I said, as I explained to him that, I'm a conservative Christian. I said, I may have a potty mouth, but I'm a conservative Christian. And his response was, relax. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm putting up a boundary with you. Okay. To not say certain things to me. And then you want to gaslight me. I didn't even respond to him. I didn't give him the dignity to respond, but that was my thought. And I was like, oh, I just wanted to be like, I'm just like, dude, don't come at me like that. Like, I'm putting up a boundary. Don't hate the boundaries. Okay. Respect them. And we can be happy friends.
Yeah, and good for you to have the confidence to set the boundary.
Yeah.
To have a voice.
Yeah. So
that's so crucial.
Yeah.
You should start a women's teaching women how to play poker.
How to play poker. I don't know. I like playing with the fellas.
It is fun to mix up.
Yeah.
And hear their banter. The banter is amusing.
Yeah.
With the guys. You're like, it's so simple. Having three boys, 3 teenagers. I'm like, you remember how the gender? I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. Like, I just have to be very direct. Like, these are the 2 outcomes. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
Like, Mum, it's not that deep. That's their famous saying to me lately. It's not that deep, Mum. It's not that deep. I'm like, yeah, but it is. This is how I feel.
Well, there's different consequences with each decision that you make, and you decide which consequence you want. So that's the option that you're getting.
Yeah, like you're at a fork in the road. Make a choice that will serve you.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Yeah, when I was helping to raise my godson when he was younger, and he would want like a couple of different options or whatever, then I would say to him, like, this is option A, option B, which one do you want? And I would make option B like awful. So he would choose the option that I wanted.
That's called smart parenting.
Yeah. so yeah.
So we can do the best that we can do.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
So how do you do like your marketing, and then how do people find you, and what are like okay, don't answer those 2 yet. The first question is, what are probably like your top 3, and I'm not sure if you said it or not already, but if so, if you can't say it again, the top 3 pillars that you have that's like your core business, like your beliefs and all that stuff about your business.
Okay.
And what you do for women.
It's really simple. I try to make life simple. Life's got enough complexity going on. So let's just make it simple. So it's basically clarity, identifying your goals, your vision, who you want to be, your mission, building confidence in going after what you want and what you deserve, and claiming what you deserve. And stepping into that confident and authentic version of yourself. And 3, figuring out the impact that you want.
I love that.
And people
what impact do you want? That's huge. That kind of sets everything else up too.
Yeah. People say purpose. I like to say impact. For me, purpose brings this grandiose pressure. You need to have purpose in your life. Your purpose changes, and you got little P's and big P's. And so when you make it just an impact statement, it simplifies it to what you want to put out there in the world and what's most important to you. So it kind of summarizes all of it, of the impact. And my impact, I just want women to be seen and heard to shine again.
I love that.
It's simple. And that's my gift. And it fills me up, and I just love it. And the days where I'm like, oh, doing the marketing and my LinkedIn posts, I'm like, this is why I'm doing it, because I could help one person. I had an enrollment call this morning with a woman who didn't want to pursue coaching. And so I just coached her for an hour. I literally, she didn't have the budget, and she was not in a place. She was trying to figure out whether to retire or not retire. And I'm like, let me just coach you. She's like, I can't ask for help. I'm like, I'm going to give it to you. So I coached her, and I'm like, and it helped her be at ease with the decisions that she was at a fork in a road. It helped her be true to what she really wants, and not be and she was confused with all the different voices going on in her head. So it just gave it clarity, and it gave it a confidence to go after what she wanted. It's just so cool to be part of that.
Yeah.
The other questions were the marketing. So LinkedIn is my main place to find me. You can book complimentary clarity calls on my LinkedIn profile, and you'll see a whole bunch of info about me. I post weekly, value added.
That link will be in the bio.
Yeah, that's in the bio. Oh, sorry, yeah.
It will be, yeah.
And I post weekly tips, tools, strategies about my clients anonymously or myself that I've shared that work. And they're very simple. They're very, they're simple, they're direct, and they work. So I post those weekly, and and I coach one-on-one, and I offer workshops too. I love the connection. The workshops are small workshops. They're different themes. Find your why, building confidence, gaining clarity, and building a personal brand. They're the four.
Do you ever do in-person workshops or online or
both?
Both. Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah. The in-person workshops right now, there's some in the works, which was really cool, because then people can just connect and get deep, and then take away. They'll have inquiry prompts or action items that resonates for them, that they can to take away with, and then and then find an accountability partner, because a lot of the work is also having someone that and accountability is not a bad thing. It helps you commit to what's most important to you.
Right.
So by telling a friend, by writing it down, by posting it somewhere, I don't know, putting wherever it is, by putting it out there and writing it down and making it real and getting it out of your head, a lot of the work is stop the overthinking and externalize it and put it into reality is the first step. So an accountability partner, which is what's so great about coaching, is that every 2 weeks we meet, and then after the 2 weeks, when they've had their chosen resonant choices they're committed to do, they'll be like, oh my God, this is what I took. This is the key takeaways I took away from doing that. This is the energy that I felt. So it's not about just the head. It's like, okay, where did you feel that in your body? How did it feel? What's the energy? What do you want to do with that? So you kind of build upon, and that's really cool for them to come back and go, hey, I'm really struggling. And then we'll unpack why they're struggling. So having someone as your partner and support and champion is a huge part of it.
That's awesome. I love that. And okay, so you answered already where people can find you. So really on LinkedIn. So my other question for you is, so are you slowly, as you're putting all this down, are you like writing your book as well?
Oh, that's so funny. I shouldn't laugh so much. I'm like, between the 3 kids and my pursuit of trying to help as many people as I can, it's not in the works. I mean, I've thought about it maybe once, but I love the one-on-one connection. I love the connection. I love the goosebumps that I get when my clients or in workshops where they're like, wow, I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah.
That's when and they get their mojo back. That's what drives me. Writing a book, yeah, it's not, I'm still passionate and busy getting that.
No, I'm just like, as you're building all this, at some point, I'm sure that people would love to hear some of the inspirational stories on how your clients' lives have changed, and your belief system, and even from ways that you help center yourself, and things that you've done for your life as well. So part biography and part inspirational stories and part, information and how this stuff gets implemented and intertwining it together. But even if it's in like 10 years from now, I'm just setting the seed, because you could, like, as you're journaling like once a year. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
my imposter syndrome on a cruise ship or something.
Yeah, and then like and just one bite at a time, and you just slowly, like, as you're just recording stuff, and that really makes an impact, and your strategies and stuff. And then, maybe in 10 years you've written a book and you didn't even realize it, or in 5 years or 2 years or whatever. Not that you have to be intentional about writing it. It's just that I think that a lot of people would be highly blessed from hearing some of the questions that you ask the ladies, and really helping them move past the surface level of themselves and getting past that. Because I probably most likely deal with like imposter syndrome a lot, because like some of the questions you'd ask me that day, I was like, I have no idea. And I hate talking about myself. And then it's just like feeling that vulnerability scares the crap out of me, and really just digging deep. And that's also one of the flaws that I don't like, is because I really want to move past the surface and really dig deep into, because that's how I'll be able to connect more with others as well, right? And being able to have that connection. And so I think some of those like questions and stuff that you have, and just everything, I just think it would be such an inspiration and help to women, and even men probably. So some of the questions to help them with themselves.
Some male clients who, and it's this, and the women focus is more about providing the support that I wish I had.
Yeah.
And I empathize, and I understand obviously way more what they've gone through. You got me thinking I should start doing a TikTok, like daily or weekly, the question of the day.
Yeah.
The inquiry prompt of the day.
I love that.
Find your why, and this will unpack something.
Yeah.
You'll resist it or you'll jump into it. And then what are you resisting?
There's a young lady I had on my podcast, and it was like, who I'd been connected with on Facebook forever, but it was like her TikTok, and I was like, oh gosh, I got to have her on the pod. And always when you go on your pod, she's like, stop right there. That's her thing. And then it's like, whoa, okay, hold on a second, I'll stop. Right. And then she gives a tip of the day, and her following and stuff like that's been growing. Yeah.
That's really cool.
And so I think that would be amazing. So even if you and then you just have all this content and stuff you've created, then you hire a ghostwriter to put it all together.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do that.
During COVID, I thought about it because I was hiking by myself a ton, because we have so many beautiful hills, and like we can escape into the woods here pretty easily. And we were allowed to hike if it was from our home. So I would just disappear.
Whatever.
So I thought daily. I thought about it daily. I'm like, what would I say today? This is what I would say.
Yeah.
So I could have a question of the day.
So just like I need to start uploading my stuff onto Spotify, right? You got to upload your first TikTok. And then have you created TikTok yet or no?
No, I did, and it got deleted. My whole account got deleted.
Shut the front door. Did someone hack into it or something? Or
one of my kids might have been fiddling with it. And they accidentally deleted it, or
so you tried to log in and they were like, no, you don't have a TikTok anymore.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, it was such a plethora of financial knowledge, mental health, fitness, nutrition, like every aspect of my life was like the expert I found in that field, and it was their one-on-one tips. It was awesome.
Oh, okay.
TikTok made me laugh so hard during COVID.
Yeah,
this is a funny analogy. So Facebook is the Karens. Instagram is
and TikTok, and Instagram is X. X is also the Karens.
Oh, really? Yeah. Instagram, like the show pony. I'm so great. My life's so perfect. And TikTok's the woman that doesn't give an F.
No.
She was like, I loved it. It was such a breath of fresh air for me during COVID. I'd be in bed laughing so hard. My kids are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I found this woman. She's so damn funny. Anyway. So yeah, maybe I should start doing that. I'm really great about, I need to be as courageous self as I encourage my clients to be and elevate them.
If you do your first TikTok this week, and I'll do my first upload of Spotify and submit it and then on Friday, I'll message you on Instagram and LinkedIn with the Spotify link.
Okay. I'll open my
TikTok me with your TikTok video.
I actually closed down my Instagram business account for the true reason I was posting there frequently. I felt like I was competing, and there's enough work for every coach. We shouldn't be competing against other women.
Yeah.
And all the bells and whistles. I'm like, that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not that. I'm simple, direct, honest.
Yeah.
Truthful.
Which is refreshing. I love that because I don't like all the fluffiness. That's what my friends are like, are you from up north? I'm like, no, I was born in Louisiana, raised in South Florida, and I live in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
And my mom's from Michigan and my dad's from New Jersey.
Yeah, that's it for you.
Yeah.
The Michigan, New Jersey. Yeah, so I got off. I literally just said, this is my last post. Come find me on LinkedIn where you'll see my advice.
But I think that TikTok will help be able to humanize a little bit. I feel like that's what TikTok does and really lets people get connected more. So I am working to do more lives and stuff like that on there as well. But like, if you look at my TikTok now, it's just like my face or someone else's face on there from the podcast.
Oh, really? Yeah. I just think it'd be so fun. The energy I would do it from the space is just doing it for fun, not trying to build a business, not trying to, there's no like hidden agenda. It's 100% just to help someone and make someone's day feel better.
Exactly. If the more authentic you are and vulnerable you are on TikTok, I feel like the more people connect with you on there, and the more people you can make an impact on. So
I have a saying: vulnerability is like Velcro.
Yeah.
When I was going through my divorce, if someone asked me, she goes, "Well, how come you got so much support?" I'm like, vulnerability is like Velcro. Velcro. I was just open what I was going through to my closest friends.
Yeah.
And they, in return, it was amazing support. So I think reaching out to other women, empathizing, checking in, are you okay when a friend is having a hard time, being there for each other. It's so important. And being okay with being vulnerable. It's not easy. Like with LinkedIn, you won't see many videos of me. I'm like hiding behind my, value-added tips, tools, and strategies. But my courageous self doing videos, but I'm much more comfortable on TikTok because there's nothing to lose.
Yeah, nothing to lose. There's a great, I think she's on his Facebook page, I think TikTok as well, but Mom Saga or something like that. But she's absolutely hilarious. I think you'd like her.
I have to check it out.
It's kind of like between her just like looking at like a video that she's mirroring or whatever, and then like her kid will pop in and say something and she's like, what, like when you said that your kid was like, what are you laughing at? And you're like, this girl at TikTok. So it kind of reminded me of her page. So anyways, all right. So it's been great, Lucy. We're about to wrap up. We're like an hour in so fast.
It did go really fast. I'm so excited for you, and I can't wait to see your journey keep going, and I appreciate the platform to share what I do and why I do it.
So we'll have your LinkedIn in the bio, but Lucy Regan, Regan. And you weren't married to Ronald Reagan's son, were you? No. I'm just kidding. I had to ask.
He was Regan. No, he was Regan. I think he dropped the O before he became president, is what I've been told.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's an old Irish name.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Lucy, thank you so much. You're amazing. And I pray that your business triples this year and that you are able to triple the impact that you make into other women's lives, because you're absolutely fabulous.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see your journey and your all endeavors.
I appreciate it. All right. Have an amazing day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, everyone, that was another You Are Loved podcast. If you want to get access to any of our journals or planners yourself, please go to youareloved.store, and then we will be doing the mastermind as well. And so we look forward to connecting with you and meeting and working together and whatever. But stay tuned, like and subscribe to the podcast so you can get access to all these amazing men and women that come on, and you never know what may empower you and take you to the next step in your business, your self-care, or your relationships. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of You Are Loved. If you have any topic ideas or would like to be a guest on the show, please hit us up on Instagram at youareloved.store.